They're really greedier than we thought they was. Yeah, Red's gonna try to hijack the load. Cletus, cut him off at the top. We're gonna box him in. Sonny, they're trying to box us in. What are you gonna do, Cruz? Oh, you gotta love a Cat engine, Sonny. Junior, he's pushing me up the hill. Ride your brakes, ride your brakes. Gotta love that Cat engine, Sonny. They'll push through anything. Oh, sorry folks. Just kind of reliving my favorite scene out of Black Dog there. No, this ain't the truck from Black Dog, but it ain't too far from the truth. Climb down out of here and I'll give you a whirl. So what we got here is an 89 Peterbilt. Like Black Dog, she's black on the exterior, the red interior, just no sleeper, and this one doesn't quite have the movie fame that the other one does. But what's under the hood is a 3406B Cat with an 18-speed transmission and some eating rears. So just like the movie, it's got that Cat engine that everybody's famous for. What happened to this one is a couple months ago we were up on a run and started developing an oil pressure problem. Found out it was leaking out of the accessory drive. The accessory drive is pretty much where the air compressor is bolted on at, and I'll show you that in a second when I pop the hood. So it's a really expensive repair, and it's sandwiched in between a couple other parts on the engine. So basically my buddy says, let's give it a crack, see what we can do with it, because the Cat house is going to be uber expensive. So they got it all tore apart and ran into a problem with getting back to it, so he called me up and says, well, see what you can do with it. So here we are. I was in here the other day and we got a little bit done on it, and today we're going to try to lift the engine up a little bit, get the front engine mount off, and get the actual front housing popped off so we can get in there and get to that little O-ring. Alright, so here's the famous 3406 Cat. This is your accessory drive housing. Air compressor would bolt in right here. Of course, your injection system. Where the oil leak was coming out of was right down in this area here is puddling and pooling. There's an O-ring and a gasket that runs through this thing here. You would think that this would come off with just these bolts here, but instead there's actually 3 studs right over in this area that go forward. So you got to take the front cover off to get to the idler gear that's in here, pull those stud nuts off before this housing will actually come off. So it's quite an involved repair. As you can see, this one's already pretty well been torn down, and along with everything on the front of the actual engine itself. Get a light in here and let you see that real quick too. So yeah, harmonic balancer, front pulleys, even that front engine mount's got to come off. Every bit of this has got to come off, and then of course make sure that you're not knocking any dirt or anything down into the engine. So it's quite a bit of a repair, quite a process. Okay, I think I just found the problem. This gear, we just pulled it off the accessory drive area right up here. Right up in here. The 3 studs, 1, 2, and 3, the lower 2, the bolts were actually loose. That would be the indicator of our actual oil problem. Once these start loosening up, it allows this plate to flex, and the gasket is compromised at that point. There we go. There we go. Yep. Section of the gasket's blown out right there, and with those loose studs, that would be part of the indicator, especially this lower stud being loose. This one's out. This compromised gasket right through here. That was our oil problem. Alright, so after several hours of cleanup work, finally got the gasket put in the backside here. This hub actually bolts into the back of the accessory drive with only 3 nuts. The 3 studs through here, got to make sure those are actually seated into the accessory drive and Loctite these guys back into place. This is what the actual failure was of the original gasket system, was the two studs over here were only finger tight, which allowed the accessory drive to move and flex and pour oil. This hub is actually pressurized. I can't get it back out, but it has high pressure oil flowing through it, which then goes through the gear like a gigantic crank bearing. So when this guy slides onto this hub, it's a really tight seat. Slides in place. Then you have a plate that covers over the front of it. Look for this recessed groove, and you'll probably find your wear marks right about there. These did not have any washers on them, but we're going to thread them back with Loctite. And again, if you have all this stuff open, remember that your crankcase is exposed, and any dirt that floats around is going to go straight in places you don't want it to go. Another thing to watch out for is these little O-rings. There's one on the back side, and this little plug goes in. This is where the drain for the high pressure oil in this area comes back out and squirts back into this timing housing. So make sure that these O-rings get changed out. The original ones were yellow and they were flat. So again, contributing to the failure of the gasket. Alright, let's get this tightened down and we'll get the front cover on. Okay, well, I had a little bit of a battery failure, so didn't get to show you the fun stuff about two of us having to heave this big front cover back into place, but we did have success. We got it covered back up, got the timing cone put back on, and ran into a snag with the air compressor. But I've been at this since 9 o'clock this morning, and it's now 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's time to hang it up and go do something else for a while. But at this point, the guys that run this truck, or the owner, can actually put it together from here, or maybe I'll be working on it some more. Either way, guys, there's 3406 Cat with, like I said, massive oil leak. It's now been fixed and put back together. So hopefully they'll put the rest of it together and get it to blow smoke here pretty soon. Get this old girl back up on the highway. So thanks for watching. Catch you on the next round.